It is cold outside right now, which means one thing. It's stew season. And this Moroccan chickpea stew checks all of the boxes. It's hearty, it's nourishing, and it's easy to make. You do a little bit of chopping, a little sauteing, and then you just pop everything in the oven to finish. And while it's baking in the oven, we're gonna make a super simple but delicious flatbread and yogurt sauce to take it over the top. We're gonna get started by breaking down our vegetables. We've got a yellow onion, red bell pepper, and some garlic. For the onion, you're going for a fine dice because you really want the onion to melt into the background of the stew. For the bell pepper though, you can see I'm just doing a rough chop. It's kind of nice to have those bigger, distinct pieces. I freaking love garlic, so I'm using 6 big boy cloves. And you're gonna give them a fine chop. Last but certainly not least, our butternut squash. Not gonna lie, this is super difficult to chop, which is why I always put it in the microwave for 2 minutes to soften, and it makes it so much easier. Hot, 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 hot. Kind of an unconventional way to slice the squash, but I like having these thin slabs because from here it is super easy to finely dice the squash. If you just roughly chop it, it's not going to like melt into the stew and make it thick and velvety, and it's gonna take longer to cook, so be sure to finely dice it. I forgot to mention this, but the Moroccan stew I'm making, it's actually referred to as a tagine. There are lots of different types of tagines. This is just my one interpretation of it. And the word tagine also refers to the traditional Moroccan pot used to make these kinds of dishes. It's beautiful, it traps the steam perfectly, but I assume most of you don't have one at home. Not to worry because a Dutch oven works really well. Let's get to cooking. I've got some olive oil heating up over medium-high heat. We'll go ahead and drop in our onions now. Hit them with a pinch of salt. The onions need about 8 minutes to get fully softened and nicely golden. So in the meantime, I'm gonna squeeze in a little bit of prep work. We're gonna mix together our spice blend. Need a teaspoon of ground coriander, half teaspoon of ground cumin, as well as cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, also 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. I like a little heat in my tagine, not too much, just a little. So I'm gonna add some cayenne pepper. If you've got baby mouth, go ahead and omit it. Just a little bit of ground cloves, probably a pinch or 1/16 of a teaspoon. Generous amount of black pepper. The real star of our tagine is the ras al hanout. This is a Moroccan spice blend, and you'll find it in most tagines. It's a little sweet, warming, a little earthy. And if you can't find it in stores or online, you can also make your own blend. We're gonna use a full tablespoon of that. Give these a stir so they don't burn. The other thing I'm gonna prep are our dates. So most tagines have some sort of sweetness from dried fruits. I love this with medjool dates. Make sure you remove the pit. This is not fun to bite down on. And then we'll just give them a chop. And you can go up to 6 dates if you want sweetness in every bite. If you don't prefer things as sweet, go ahead and use 3 dates. If your onions start to brown a little too quickly because you were doing some prep work and not paying attention to them, just add a splash of water. That's gonna bring down the temperature of everything in the pot, and it's gonna help the onions brown more evenly. Last thing I'm going to prep, it's not really prepping, I'm gonna open a can of tomatoes. You actually don't need the full can of crushed tomatoes, you need 14 ounces, but I couldn't find a smaller can. Ah, splatter. Our onions are looking nicely golden and melty, so it's time for our bell pepper and garlic. I'm also gonna add a cinnamon stick to this mixture. It's gonna perfume the whole tagine with this really lovely warm aroma. Unlike the onions, this is not a good time to multitask because the garlic will burn, so stir frequently for about 3 minutes. You wanna make sure you stir vigorously when you add the spices, otherwise they will burn. And if it looks dry, go ahead and add a splash of your vegetable broth. Whew, that is good. Now we just add everything else to the pot. It is so simple. This is 2 cups of vegetable broth. If you've got a lot of food bits stuck at the bottom, go ahead and scrape that up. A lot of flavor in there. Add in your diced butternut squash, the crushed tomatoes. The protein of our meal, this is 2 cans of chickpeas that I previously drained and rinsed. Get those chopped dates in there as well. A couple bay leaves, teaspoon of kosher salt. Crank up the heat to bring it to a boil and give it a stir. Right now it looks pretty soupy, but after 40 minutes in the oven, the squash is going to melt into the stew and make it super velvety and thick. Nice glug of extra virgin olive oil. This is a very wholesome stew. Want to give it a little richness. Make sure that your pan is tightly covered. We want everything to stay nice and moist and not dry out. If you don't have a Dutch oven with a lid, go ahead and cover your pan tightly with foil. Gotta get these on. Hello. This is a heavy pot, so bend your knees, squat it low to the ground, and then put the Dutch oven in the oven. Protect that back. The tagine needs about 40 minutes in the oven, and I thought I would use that time to make a simple flatbread to pair with it. I'm gonna use 300 grams of flour. It's about 2 2/3 cup, but if you have a scale, it's always gonna be more accurate. A teaspoon and a half of baking powder, a generous teaspoon of kosher salt. Let's give it a whisk. Now for some yogurt. This is plant-based coconut yogurt. Whoop. You need 5 ounces or 140 grams. Does not taste like coconut, so don't worry. And 105 milliliters of water, which is about 7 tablespoons. And you're just gonna start combining the dough with a spatula or your hands until you can't combine it any longer. It's time to get your hands dirty. Ooh, it's like Play-Doh. This is as good as we're gonna get from here, so it's time to knead the dough. I'm gonna lightly flour your surface just to prevent any sticking. Grab your dough mound and just start kneading. It'll get sticky pretty soon. If it's too sticky though, add a little more flour to your surface. Once your dough is not too sticky and it is relatively smooth and honestly kind of looks like a brain, you're gonna put it back in your bowl, add a little oil to the bottom, and then you'll cover it for just 15 minutes. That's just like a mini time for rising. It's not gonna rise a lot because it's a quick flatbread. The gluten strands will relax a little bit. While the dough is resting, we're gonna make a 2-minute yogurt sauce. I personally think that a yogurt sauce is one of the best ways to take a good dish to a great dish, and it couldn't be simpler. I've got another 5-ounce container of vegan coconut yogurt. If you can, opt for one that is thick and creamy with a nice underlying tartness. A little bit of lemon juice just to brighten everything. Maybe 2 teaspoons to start. A half teaspoon of ground coriander. That's going to accentuate the citrusy flavors. And a couple pinches of salt. That's all. Give it a taste. We are ready to go. Actually, we are not. We are waiting for the dough to rise, but the yogurt sauce is done. It's good. So I'm gonna pop it in the fridge while we wait. A lot of lifting today. Nothing these guns can't handle though. If you can, let this rest for 20 minutes to allow the flavors to develop and get nice and cozy, and that is the perfect amount of time to roll out and cook our flatbreads. I'm gonna preheat my cast iron pan on my regular real adult stove. It's a little more consistent heat-wise than that baby camp stove, and we're gonna heat it over medium-high heat for about 5 minutes. It probably makes enough for 6 large flatbreads or 8 medium-sized ones. Lightly dust our work zone with some flour. I like to roll once and then pick up the rolling pin, not just roll over repeatedly, because the dough turns out a little stickier that way. And you're gonna try to roll these out into a nice, even round circle, and you're probably gonna fail. So just accept that it's gonna look like a bit of an amoeba shape, or a Pokemon, one of the two. Oh, this one's kind of a round shape. Not bad. It's getting worse as I go, but. Our pan has heated up for 5 minutes. I'm gonna add just a little bit of oil and spread it out in the pan. You're just gonna wanna watch the pan. There's no specific cook time. Once you've got a little bit of charring on the bottom and bubbles on the top, give it a flip. We welcome all shapes in the Rainbow Plant Life community. We do not discriminate. This one is particularly hideous though. Huh, kind of shaped like a butternut squash. Perfect for our butternut squash chickpea tagine. I like to finish them with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This is like the very quick version of my vegan naan. Very important, a little flaky sea salt at the end. Got some flat leaf parsley here to finish our tagine. You can also do cilantro. We're gonna scoop out that cinnamon stick. Look how plump she got. And you can see how much richer and thicker this stew feels now. Let's get the bay leaf out. We've got a lot of great warming flavors in the tagine. Now it's time for a little brightness. I'm gonna zest 1 medium lemon directly into the pot. I'm also gonna add 1 tablespoon of the juice and our chopped parsley. Look at that, so many pretty colors. All right, let's put it all together. Get some of that yogurt sauce on there, a little more fresh chopped parsley, and to put it all together, some flatbread. Very exciting. It is so perfect. It is cozy, it's warming, it's rich and decadent, even though it's made with such wholesome ingredients. If you want more cozy, wholesome winter recipes, check out this playlist right here. You can get the full recipe on the blog. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!